on that story. We are shifting our focus now towards US President Donald Trump. US President Donald Trump has invited dozens of countries to join the Board of Peace that seeks to resolve global conflicts. But its remit has alarmed several US allies, as has the US leader's comment that it might replace the United Nations. The board, indefinitely chaired by Trump, was originally conceived as a limited body tasked to oversee the reconstruction of Gaza, which was decimated by Israel's two-year war. But its purpose has since expanded to tackle conflicts all over the world, and the charter draft, which was sent along with the invitations to join, does not even reference Gaza. US adversaries Russia and China, as well as long-time repressive state of Belarus, are among those who have been invited to join the board, offering a permanent seat for $1 billion price tag. Now, European allies and oil-rich Gulf states, former Soviet republics, and even the Pope have received offers to join. About 35 of the 50 invited nations are expected to attend a signing ceremony today, which is Thursday, on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in the Swiss resort of Davos. Trump had initially floated the Board of Peace as a part of a second phase of the US brokered 20-point Gaza ceasefire plan in September. The Board of Peace will sit above a founding executive board that includes Trump's son-in-law, who is Jared Kushner, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Let's in fact take a look at who all are in the executive board for the Board of Peace as well. Now, remember that this is something that Trump has been advocating for, and this is also something that we will be looking at today being signed by a lot of parties who have been invited to this Board of Peace. So, let's look at the Gaza Peace Board, who's on this. We have three faces in front of us. This is Nikolai Maldanov. He is a High Representative for Gaza. We have Marco Rubio. He is a US Secretary of State. He is part of the Executive Committee as well. And we have Tony Blair, who is the former UK Prime Minister. He is also part of the Executive Committee. So, that High Representative for Gaza does not form a part of the Executive Committee. Let's look at the next three names. We have Jared Kushner, who is part of the Executive Committee, and he is Trump's son-in-law as well. We have Steve Witkoff, the US Special Envoy, and he is part of the Executive Committee as well. And we have Ajay Banga, who is the World Bank President, and Mr. Banga is also part of the Executive Committee. Let's look at Mark Rowan, who is the Apollo Global CEO. So, this person also is part of the Executive Committee. And we have Robert Gabriel, political advisor, who is part of the Executive Committee as well, and Javier Milei, who is the Argentine president. So, we have Javier Milei, who is also part of the Gaza Peace Board, but he is not part of the Executive Committee. Let's look at the next three names. We have Mark Carney, who is the Canadian Prime Minister, not part of the Executive Board though. We have Erdogan, who is the Turkish President. He is also not part of the Executive Committee. And we have Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is the Egyptian President. So, these people, all the leaders from across the globe, are also part of the Gaza Peace Board, but they are not part of the Executive Committee, remember. Hakan Fidan, who is the Turkish Foreign Minister, is part of the Gaza Executive Board as well. We have Reem Al-Hashmi, who is the UAE Minister. She is part of the Gaza Executive Board. And we have Ali Al-Thawadi, who is the Qatari diplomat. He is also part of the Gaza Executive Board. So, these are the names that are in fact coming to the fore. But remember that some of these members are part of the Executive Committee, and some are just members of the Gaza Peace Board. So let's take this discussion forward with Mr. Karori Singh, Foreign Affairs expert. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the broadcast. A very good afternoon to you. Mr. Singh, how are you looking at this Gaza Peace Board? We are also now looking at it being expanded, because the invitation, sir, that has been sent across to leaders over the globe, it does not mention Gaza at all. It mentions, a fee for permanent membership. It mentioned Trump being the chairman for life, but it fails to mention Gaza. It says that it's a body that will resolve global conflicts. How are you looking at this, sir?
Shivani, I have gone through the charter of this peace board, and I do have an impression that it's a highly sketchy. Some of the things are very ambiguous and not so clear. Though the United Nations Security Council has authorized to constitute the Board of Peace, but when we see it's the institutional structure, legal ambiguities, legally the chairman of the Board of Peace is authorized to take most of the decisions. So the democratic process has been practically neglected in the Board of Peace. And within the Board of Peace, there is an executive board. So the executive board members may be the of the Board of Peace, but Board of Peace has been constituted in such a way that most of the Islamic countries are there, and only 30 countries have given consent to join the Board of Peace. And among these 30 countries, European countries are not taking interest in the Board of Peace. The second thing is, in the Board of Peace, President Putin and the Prime Minister Netanyahu have been invited. And both of them are in fact, the warrants have been issued by the International Criminal Court against both of them. So how they can be the member of the Board of Peace while having a warrant against them by the United Nations, though the United Nations authorized for the Board of Peace. So there are so many ambiguities. And about the financial component, the board says that the members will pay $1 billion for the membership, those who want to be permanent members. And all the more important is, if some country becomes member of the Board of Peace, then the Board of Peace will have jurisdiction and mandate to interfere in the affairs of that country. As you have rightly mentioned, the Gaza's name is not mentioned. So it's the open-ended Board of Peace. Board of Peace can interfere in any country's affairs on the name of establishing peace. So the things are very ambiguous. And another thing important is, President Trump is the permanent chairman of the Board of Peace. It seems from the charter, because all the 13 articles or the 13 chapters they have mentioned are not so clear in terms of the legality, in terms of institutional mechanism, in terms of financial mechanism. So it's so much ambiguity is there in the charter itself. And if charter is ambiguous, and how it can have a universal character, global character, because it's not only for Gaza. So within the Board of Peace, there are some institutions functioning in Gaza. One is the International Stabilization Force, and the second one is the National Governance Authority. And all how these authorities will work. And since Gaza is still divided in the sense, half of the Gaza is being controlled by the Israeli forces, and half of the Israel is still practically under the Hamas forces. So how it will function, it is not clear right at the moment. Over, Shivani.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, please do stay on with us. Let me, in fact, take our viewers and let's take a look at who all have accepted and who all have rejected the invitation to, in fact, join the Board of Peace, because this is very important to understand how this Board of Peace has been, given the invitation, how people and how the countries have in fact accepted or rejected it. So let's take a look at Trump's Board of Peace, who has accepted. So these are the people who have accepted Trump's invitation. We have Israel, we have Benjamin Netanyahu, we have Pakistan, who has also accepted. We have Saudi Arabia, who has also accepted this invitation. Now then let's look at UAE as well. UAE has accepted the invitation to join. We have Egypt and we have Qatar. So all these nations in the Middle East have joined and accepted Trump's invitation to be on that Board of Peace. We have Turkey, we have Jordan and Indonesia as well joining that Board of Peace by Trump. In fact, we have other leaders as well who are joining. So we have Vietnam, we have Uzbekistan, we have Morocco as well. So there are, remember that there are around 35 countries leaders who are expected to be signing that Board of Peace today in Davos. We have Azerbaijan, we have Kosovo, we have Hungary. So all these countries have accepted the invitation to be part of Trump's Board of Peace. Remember that the first initial, if they don't pay the permanent membership fees of $1 billion, they will get a membership for 3 years, which is renewable. We have Belarus, we have Kazakhstan, Argentina as well, which has accepted the invitation. Bahrain has accepted, Armenia has accepted, and Albania as well. Armenia and Albania both have accepted to be part of Trump's Board of Peace. We have Kuwait and we have Paraguay as well, who have accepted the invitation. So let's look at who have now rejected the invitation, who do not want to be part of this entire Board of Peace. We have France, we have Denmark, we have Norway. So obviously these are countries that are currently facing strained ties with the US, so they have rejected to be part of this. Sweden has rejected, Slovenia has rejected, and China as well. Remember, China is saying that they support multilateralism and UN is at its core, so they cannot support a body which will function parallel to the UN. So that is why they have in fact rejected this Board of Peace. But it's very important because even Russia and China and India received the invitation. Russia, of course, is still, we have Trump in fact stating that Russia has accepted the invitation. India is still deliberating if they want to join or not. Let me in fact go across to Mr. Singh on this. Mr. Singh, we have a lot of countries accepting Trump's proposal to be on the Board of Peace, but it's very important to note that India also has got an invitation, but India has not clarified its stand. And it's very important because India on one hand supports multilateralism through the UN, and it's a very tricky situation for India because if this board goes on to solve conflicts across the world, Kashmir might turn up next, and Pakistan actually has accepted the invitation to be part of this. How do you look at this entire scenario unfolding, Mr. Singh?
You see, the ambiguity is not about its functioning or its jurisdiction. There are certain other ambiguities as well, and that is why the global communities, particularly the most influential and prominent countries, are reluctant to accept its membership invitation. So it can't be substitute of United Nations. What the US is doing, on the one hand, US has withdrawn membership of 60 UN agencies, and on the other hand, US has mandate to establish the Board of Peace authorized by United Nations Security Council. So it cannot be the substitute of United Nations. Another important thing is President Trump is the chairman of the board permanent. So when the next president comes after 3 years, what will be the fate of the board of peace? Whether the next president will be the chairman or the Trump will continue. If Trump continues, there will be conflict within United States itself, because the new president may not like the board of peace mandate in United States and in other countries as well. So there will be conflict in that situation as well. As regards your specific question about India, India will never give up its sovereignty and independence. And Board of Peace is supposed to have jurisdiction in the member nations, those who have joined the Board of Peace. So no nation will allow Board of Peace jurisdiction in its sovereign rights and its independence. So the countries are reluctant to give the Board of Peace so much power, so much jurisdiction, and that's the situation is there, because the mandate of the Board of Peace is not so clear. It's ambiguous when we go through the charter of the Board of Peace. So things shall have to be made clear first about the Board of Peace. It's just giving sole authority to President
All
Trump.
right. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for joining us on the broadcast.